skies, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Good morning. I would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the unceded traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. The Mi'kmaq are one of the 5 nations of the Wabanaki Confederacy in the northeast of Turtle Island. Welcome everyone to Tantramar Regional High School's 49th graduation ceremony. I am Susan Lafford, Principal of Tantramar Regional High School, and I'm pleased you are joining us from your home to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2020. This is the first graduating class to be celebrated in this way, and to my knowledge, this is the first class to receive their diplomas at the school itself. Although we can't all be together for this momentous occasion, graduates of 2020, I invite you to take a moment to don your mortar boards as you get ready to tune in. Hit pause if you need to. It's hard to believe we are turning the page on another decade. It has been an unprecedented year and certainly one for the history books. From extreme weather to the novel coronavirus, this past year brought a lot of changes to our lives and routines. Our time together at school ended abruptly on March 13th when we learned that we would be home for a while to keep ourselves and others safe from a virus we knew little about. We watched as parts of the economy shut down, social norms changed, the spring extracurricular season was canceled, and schooling was moved online. We waited with uncertainty as to when things may return to normal. Our lives are not back to normal yet, but they have changed. We've had time to reflect on what's most important in our lives: our health, family and friends, staying connected and spending time alone, learning new things, learning about sustainability, and slowing down. We have been lucky to date in New Brunswick, but have foregone many of the perks we are accustomed to, such as traveling, shopping, going to the movies, or eating out at a restaurant. We have been looking after each other, ensuring measures are in place to help meet the basic needs of those in our community, and shifting our mindset to we versus me. I hope we all continue to value what matters most as we move ahead. Although your grad year did not unfold as expected, class of 2020, it is a landmark event in the story of you. And graduation is a time to reflect on your past as you plan for your future. A lot has happened since you became Titans during the fall of 2016. It does not seem like that long ago that you were sitting in the trhs theater, anxious and excited about starting high school, being welcomed as new Titans. It's cliche, but time flies when you're having fun. Many of you have been busy the last 4 years learning new skills inside and out of the classroom, making new connections and enriching not only the school, but the Tantramar community with your endeavors. It has been a pleasure to watch you grow into young adults. After this year, some of you will stay connected and some of you will not. Either way, I hope you cherish the good times that you've spent together at TRHS. Your individual and collective experiences contribute to who you are. But remember, some of your best days haven't even happened yet. You are now ready to leave our little school on the marsh, and we celebrate that. No matter where you go after this year or what you do, the unique experience of being a Titan will be the common thread which keeps you connected. You will be Tantramar Titans forever. Many people around you have played a large part in helping you become who you are. Your teachers, friends, coaches, family. Your graduation is a special occasion for them as well, and they are cheering you on. I encourage you to reflect on the impact these special people have had in your life thus far, and take the time to express your gratitude for their encouragement, love, and support as soon as possible. Joining me to address the class of 2020, I'd like to welcome Superintendent Greg Ingersoll with greetings from the Anglophone East School District, Megan Mitten, MLA for Memram Cook, Tantramar, class of 2004, and your valedictorian, Zachary Strong, class of 2020.
Hello everyone. As Superintendent of the Anglophone East School District, I want to wish you sincere congratulations on behalf of all the staff that work in our school district. You've been with us for 13 years now, and we hope that we've helped you get ready for the next stage in your life that comes after high school. We certainly appreciate that this year is not ending the way that you had hoped it would end. The COVID-19 crisis that we've been involved in since early March has certainly changed a lot of things in our world, both locally and on the world stage. And we know that it certainly changed your life and the way things were going to go in the last few months of your public education. But one thing we know for sure is that we've all learned a lot of lessons from this. And the resiliency that you've built up to get yourself through this is going to stand by you for the rest of your life. Most people, when they graduate, don't have to deal with the kind of things you've had to deal with. So we're hoping that those skills that you've learned to deal with that are going to be skills that you'll use in the rest of your life as you move forward. And we know you're all going to be successful because you've got a great education and you're all ready to go. Things will settle down again in the world, and hopefully some of the things that we took for granted before, we won't do that anymore. And you guys, as you move out into the world, are going to make it a better place for all of us. So good luck and all the best in your endeavors in the future. We're all very proud of you here at the Anglophone East School District.
Hello, bonjour, gui. It is such an honor to have the opportunity to speak to you, the class of 2020, and to all of your biggest fans, your friends and families, your teachers and the staff of Tantramar Regional High School. I want to start by acknowledging this moment. You graduated from high school, even in the midst of a world-stopping challenge like a global pandemic. Despite all of that, you did it, and we are proud of you for what you've achieved. It is an honor to be able to address you this special day, but I do wish it were under different circumstances. I wish we could all be at Convocation Hall, that I could see each of you walk across the stage, take pictures by the swanless pond, and that we didn't have to wear masks and feel like we have to hoard hand sanitizer. You were probably feeling some of these things too. The way you pictured graduation, had planned for prom, and would have had some graduation-related parties. Many of the milestones and celebrations have been canceled, postponed, or turned upside down. I am so glad that you were still able to have a graduation ceremony, and I am impressed with everyone who pulled it together in order to celebrate you. It certainly looks different from my graduation, and not just because of the pandemic. I'd like to think that I'm not that much older than you, but I graduated from TRHS in 2004, 16 years ago. People still used cameras back then, and so we would take pictures and go home and download them onto a computer and then email them to each other, and maybe even print them. I'm not sure that you could even text a photo back then. You certainly couldn't tweet or Instagram anything. And if you can believe me, we didn't have Facebook at that time. There were no smartphones. My friends with cell phones would get in trouble for texting too much because each text cost 10 cents. There were limits on how much you could text and how much you could do. We didn't have Zoom or anything like that, and in fact, video conferencing seemed like the type of thing you'd see in a sci-fi movie. Technology has shifted and changed so quickly in your lifetimes. The limits keep changing and disappearing, and it seems like technology isn't the only space that is changing quickly. It feels like you're graduating in a time of upheaval. There are major changes being proposed and happening across the world. Our systems are being reimagined. And I really think that the youth, you, with your energy and your ideas and your vision, that you are a key piece of the puzzle for why and how these changes are happening so quickly. There is something very special that I often see in youth, and that all too often gets lost in people as they get older. It is this sense that things can change significantly. The belief that the world can be a lot better than it is. I urge you to maintain this belief. I believe it too, and we need you to maintain this hope and keep working on it. So you have energy and ideas and social media tools, and now you have a high school diploma, and you're ready to take on the world. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I want to be honest with you. As I've hinted at, we are facing pretty major problems, and they can feel pretty heavy and overwhelming. COVID-19 is an urgent one and present in our daily lives now. Climate change is ever present and deserves a sense of urgency too. And I know many of you share that sense of urgency and have even organized school climate strikes during your time at Tantramar. Both of these challenges help to expose other inequalities in our society. Resources are not shared very fairly. We have people struggling with housing and food and not having enough to get by, and we also have billionaires at the same time here in New Brunswick. Lately, we have seen a lot more light being shed on systemic racism, with Black Lives Matter organizers and allies rising up around the world and right here in Sackville, and with calls in New Brunswick to look at how Indigenous people are treated in the policing and justice systems. This is some seriously heavy stuff. And I believe that we are in a time when we can change these systems. We can examine our own biases, we can pressure governments to do the same, we can shift our economy to take care of people and the environment. We can do these things. No pressure, but I think you can help do these things. We can do hard things together. You don't need to do these things alone. There are communities, in addition to our online ones, so IRL, communities we can connect to in Sackville, Dorchester, Port Elgin, Bayvert, Cape Tormentine, or wherever you end up living. Community is so important and is part of having a happy life. Building relationships and connections in our communities can help us be resilient and get through tough times. Part of how you change the world will be how you spend your time, how you build your life. Your plans for the summer, fall, and beyond have likely been disrupted in some way due to the pandemic. You have been planning to travel somewhere, perhaps, to study or work, or just to travel. You may have had plans that are now on hold, or you're trying to figure out a new plan. If I can share something with you that I wish I had embraced when I was your age, it's that you have time. It may not feel like it. It may feel that you need to accomplish your goals in record time, very quickly, like you need to get to the next destination, whether that be finishing college or university, getting a certain job, starting a family, whatever it may be. Whatever it is, you have time. I'm not saying to put off working on your goals, but it's okay if you take longer than planned. It's okay if it looks different than you expected. It's okay if your goal changes. That's how life works. When I was your age, I planned to study chemistry. Well, that didn't pan out. And actually, Mrs. Lafford supervised my independent study in chemistry when I was in grade 12. And about a month into university, I realized I didn't really like it. And even though it was stressful at the time, I learned a lot from having chosen the wrong major. And I learned lessons about how to change direction and about what I wanted to do, which was to study politics and women's studies and international studies. Working in different organizations like the Women's Daytime Drop-In Center when I lived in California helped me understand the effects of inequality and racism on women and children, which often resulted in poverty and homelessness. I've also volunteered and worked at the Tantramar Wetland Center right here, which helped me understand the value of wetlands and biodiversity. All of these things have ended up contributing to the path I'm on and have helped me to prepare for the job that I have now, which is MLA, which is to represent you at the provincial level. All of these experiences that you may have, good or bad, exciting or challenging, will help you learn and be prepared for what comes next in your life. No matter what you do, who you are, you will change the world. What you do matters. Are you going to grow food or cook food or serve food? All of which are essential to life. Are you going to care for others as a parent, as an early childhood educator, in a nursing home, in a hospital? Also essential to life. Are you going to work to change policy, to dismantle racism, to rebuild a world that is just? Are you going to volunteer in your community as a coach or a mentor, or with a service club like Rotary? Will you make sure to also enjoy spending time in nature, creating art, spending time with friends and family? All of these things, whatever it is you do, matter. As you think about your life, make sure to consider that school and work are not everything. Part of the new world we need to build needs to move away from the constant hustle and bustle and phones dinging and ringing. When you look back at high school, surely you don't only remember classes and assignments, presentations, projects. I certainly hope you remember extracurricular activities like dragon boat, playing a sport, putting on a play, eating lunch with friends, contributing to your community, wearing red and blue, your relationships with fellow Titans. Life is like that too. It shouldn't be all about work. You are already leaders in your school, in your community. I struggled for a long time thinking about what to do with my life. I'm sure some of you can relate. Most of us don't know from an early age exactly what we want to do. Most of us will change careers. I've thought about this question on what to do and how to change the world for a long time. And one small insight I want to share is that making change looks different for different people at different times in their lives. At some points, I've been in the streets protesting for change from outside the system, and sometimes I've been volunteering to cook meals. And more recently, I decided to try to change things from within the system by running for office. Sometimes we will do many things at once, different things at different points, but I encourage you to look at your passions, your interests, your skills, and the needs in your community at any given moment, and figure out what it is that you can do at that time. The most important things are to show up and be willing to learn. I think you already know this, but this is your world to change. And you have so much power to do so, especially if we work together. I don't want to put the weight of the world on your shoulders. I want you to know how powerful you are. This is just the beginning of great things you will do. I'm so proud of you, and I know our whole community is too. I know your teachers and staff and coaches and mentors and tutors and family and friends and everyone in our community are so excited for you and excited to watch you continue to grow, to see what you do next. Whether you leave and come back like I did, or you stay and settle down, or you move away and you just come back to visit, I can't wait to see how you and your generation will change the status quo. I wish you all the best as you navigate these turbulent times full of uncertainty and face masks and probably a lot of Netflix. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bonne chance et félicitations. Best of luck and congratulations to the class of 2020. Thank you. Merci. Bulaliok.
Well, this is certainly different. I'm sure nobody expected a graduation ceremony like this when we started the year. It's almost like I'm filming a video for YouTube, only a lot more formal and with a lot more pressure to say something funny and or motivational. Well, let me give this a shot. Everyone is well aware of our current global situation. I don't need to go into much detail. Soon enough, we'll probably be telling our kids how difficult life was back in our generation, as if we lived through some kind of war. In a way, though, we are fighting a war. Multiple wars. A war against a fast-mutating virus. A war against discrimination. A war against misinformation. We live in a very divided time, both physically and ideologically. When did we get this notion that clashing among ourselves was the new cool thing to do? I can't speak for everyone, but myself, I'm tired of all this worthless bickering. So, what do we do about all this? You may think the world is too big or too damaged for you to make an impact. I disagree. Certainly, there are a lot of things we can't do at the moment, but there's still a lot of things we can do, like smiling and laughing. I feel that over the past few months, people have forgotten to laugh. Laughter is one of the most powerful tools we have. It's also one of the easiest things we can do. If social media has taught me anything, it's that we can derive comedy from almost anything. I can't count the number of times I've been sitting in calculus class listening to the people in front of me laughing hysterically. I'd lean over to see what they were laughing at, only to find a phone screen with some grainy, oversaturated image talking about beans or something. And hey, I might not understand people's sense of humor, but that doesn't make it any less valid. If something makes you laugh, that's great. Hold on to that thing. Maybe share it with a couple friends. They might need a good laugh. What else can we do? Well, we can be there for each other. It's no secret that Tantramar has a very tight-knit community. Just because we're physically distant doesn't mean we have to be emotionally distant. It's 2020. We have magical bricks in our pockets which let us talk to pretty much whoever we want. We might as well use them every now and then. I know we certainly used them back in the Quebec trip. At that time, our phones were more useful to us as a means to prank call the other rooms in the hotel, asking for Poppy Johns and Sody Pops, but they were still useful nonetheless. So, as sappy and as corny as this may sound, you should give your friends a call every now and then, just to talk. Let them know they have one extra friend to lean on. 10 years from now, you probably won't remember how to perform an acid-based titration or what Shakespeare was trying to say with Macbeth. What you will remember are the memories you made with your friends. You'll probably remember that one assembly where Justin Smith threw the bow instead of the arrow into the crowd, or when the school sprinklers malfunctioned and we all had to stand in the gym for a half hour trying to figure out what happened, or when we copy-pasted the B-movie script into Schoology because why not? As ridiculous as all these things were, they're what made our experience special. I think it's safe to say that we all made some darn good memories here. As nostalgic as it is to reminisce over these memories, it's important that we remember to keep moving forward. Yes, our daily lives have been interrupted quite a bit from this situation, but it won't be like this forever. Rather than focus on how crummy our lives are right now, let's instead focus on what the world has in store for us down the road. I mean, we're all graduating. That's a fairly big event. Some of us will be heading off to college or university. Some of us will be diving right into their career path, while others might slow down for a bit. We have been in school for practically our entire lives, so it's perfectly understandable that some of us would want to stop and catch our breaths. Regardless of what you decide to do after you receive your diploma, let the man with the microphone and fancy outfit tell you what to do. Don't stress it. Seriously, I've been stressing about practically everything I've done my entire life, and let me tell you, it's exhausting. Truly and utterly exhausting. There's a time and place for worrying, don't get me wrong, but I found things get a lot easier when you take some deep breaths and tackle things with a level head. Your blood pressure will surely thank you for it. So, yes, we're all about to head out into a big scary world that's been turned on its side and spun around a few times. So what? We've all just spent the past 12 plus years of our lives preparing for that. We're smart, we're resilient, and as the SRC and staff have tried to force into our brains for 4 years, we're Titans. Titans not only have the extraordinary power to help others, but they also have the power to help themselves. and seeing all the incredible things this community has accomplished, like winning the Envirothon the first try, or our 5th consecutive provincial football championship, it's no secret that Titans have the potential to do great things. Don't let your own fears hold you back. Our lives are too valuable to be worried about the judgment of people who have no power over you. Our lives are too valuable to concern ourselves with a million what-ifs. Remember to make the choices that bring you joy, as well as to those around you. Live your life the way you want to live it. Before I end this speech, I would like to thank a few people. Actually, I'd like to thank a whole bunch of people, but they'd probably kick me off the stage before I finished. There's just not enough pieces of paper in this stack to list everyone I'd like. First off, I want to thank the teachers that survived our grade's reign of terror. I remember in Marshview how we'd be practically yelling one minute, the teachers would tell us to zip it, and then we'd be right back to yelling the next minute. No matter what they did, be it dragging a kid down the hall by their ears or attempting to blackmail us into submission with a PowerPoint presentation, we were never fazed. The only reason we were any better at Tantramar was because Miller kept bribing us with iPads and Tozer kept showing us the report of the week when we were supposed to be analyzing short stories about death. But that's just what makes Tantramar staff so amazing. They aren't afraid to share their passions with us, to share laughs with us. They aren't afraid to answer students' math questions on Facebook Messenger. The staff who work at this building have just as much to be proud of as the students do today. I could list names all day, but you already know how great you all are. You don't need me to tell you that. I also want to thank each and every one of you for helping me become the person I am today, for better or for worse. You were all there for me at my worst, and you all suffered my terrible humor at my best. For that, I offer you my sincerest thanks. You have all given me memories I will never forget, like Allison's near mental breakdowns in English class, or Nicole's sleep-deprived ramblings, or Jaden's capitalist propaganda, and many more. I wish you all the best of luck on your endeavors, and I hope to see you all sometime in the near future. Be safe, be smart, make good decisions, and don't get into strange cars. My parents also wanted me to thank them in this speech, so thanks. Thanks for putting up with me for 18 years. It may have been annoying, and I'm sure that there were times that you wanted to chuck me into the Grand Canyon, but hopefully you now feel it was all worth it. I'll try not to spend all your money while at Acadia. Another thanks goes to the parents of the graduates for doing everything in their power to get their kids through high school. Special thanks to the parents who volunteered to chaperone for SRC events. You all saved us a lot of stress, and without your support, those events simply wouldn't have happened. An extra special thanks goes to Neptune Blues family, who allowed their home to double as a community center for my friend group. Your hospitality has not gone unnoticed. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. Sorry if it wasn't as formal or motivational as usual. I'm a mathematician, not an orator. This whole speech thing is kind of new to me. I'd like to end with one of Matthias Jepson's favorite quotes. Change the world, my final message. Goodbye. Thank you.
I'm happy to present the class of 2020. Graduates, you may now toss your mortarboards. I would like to take a moment to also say congratulations to Mrs. McKinnon as she embarks on a new phase in her life. She will be retiring next week after 20 years teaching at TRHS and 13 as director of the Tantramar Wetlands Center. Thank you for your devotion to developing leaders and enriching the lives of so many Titans over the years. We wish you all the best, Mrs. McKinnon. A huge thank you to all the TRHS staff who assisted with organizing this year's graduation, especially advisors Mrs. Bowser and Mrs. Jones, Mrs. McKeel and Mrs. Hicks, the TRHS Grad Council, Cindy Prescott, and the TRHS office staff. Thank you to Town of Sackville Councilors Sean Michaud and Allison Butcher for volunteering to help us at the school during graduation. Graduates, on behalf of everyone at Tantramar Regional High School, we want you to know how proud we are of you. Your accomplishments are our accomplishments. We wish you all the best as you take on new challenges, responsibilities, and build new relationships. Congratulations once again, class of 2020. Be safe and take care of each other.
God save our gracious Queen.